Welcome everybody back to Rob's MetalWorks, and we are celebrating a very special evening tonight as we bring you part 2 of the Rob's MetalWorks Dean Guitars Recognition Series. And it brings me great pleasure to announce that for this second guitar giveaway, we have decided upon one of our own, San Antonio's very own Austin Zettner, and I have the young man with me here today. Welcome, Austin.
Thank you.
It's great to have you, man, as part of this recognition series. And you know, I definitely wanted to also recognize people here locally. And when I first started tossing names around of guitarists, I mean, you were definitely one of the people that was on the top of the list. I think there's going to be many people out there who maybe know about Austin Zettner. They don't know the early beginnings of Austin Zettner. And I've known you for about 5 years now, since you really started getting out originally on the scene and really kind of came to recognize you as a player. And you've kind of stayed on my radar all that time. So for those people out there who don't know about Austin Zettner, share a little bit about your history.
I've been playing since I was about 10 years old. I first got into metal like Black Sabbath, AC/DC. That's what made me want to start. Started my first band in high school and played the White Rabbit and all those places. And then I think my first really serious band was Imminent Descent when I was in the 11th grade. We came out with an album. And I learned a lot of stuff. I mean, I was playing with older people. Yeah. And now, today, I started my own band because I didn't want to do this death thrash metal thing anymore. I wanted to venture out, create something new. Right. And that's what I've done with my new band, Eternal Requiem.
I think you bring up a good point. One of the things that I thought that was very important about choosing you for this recognition was the fact that, you know, you're not just a player who is out there satisfied playing other people's stuff. Not that you can't do it and do it well, mind you, but that maybe is not something that you just want to be stuck in, that you really kind of want to cross over and write your own music and kind of lead your own band and project. Talk a little bit about how important that was for you as a young musician.
I was inspired by a lot of European bands at the time, and to have a really cool idea and have someone tell me, no, let's not use it, you know, that's a little frustrating. So it was very liberating to create my own band where, you know, whatever I create, it's used and there's no limitations.
Looking back, what do you think was kind of like one of the biggest lessons you took away from that time?
Run your band like a business, because you can be really good, you can have great music, but if you don't get it out there, you don't put it in front of the right people, then you're not going to go anywhere. It's going to be this great guy that nobody knows about.
Okay, so let's talk about your current band, Eternal Requiem. When did you officially start Eternal Requiem? And I know, you know, having seen the band a couple of times, there was a little bit of transition, but I think now you've kind of got a really solid lineup. You are a 3-piece band, and you're playing lead guitar and singing, so you know you're at the heart of it. So talk a little bit about the beginnings of Eternal Requiem and what people can expect when they hear your music.
We began probably 2 or 3 years ago. It was me, Ozzy Alejo, and Waldo Guardiola, and that's actually the brother of Gabriel Guardiola and Immortal Guardian. And we met every weekend in a storage shed, and we wrote all these songs, and I took it upon myself to sing, and I sang very badly. And I took more singing lessons, and I finally got what I was trying to do, because I have a lower voice. I wanted to sing like Jim Morrison, I wanted to sing like Typo Negative, 69 Eyes, Misfits, and I'm finally starting to be able to do that. I had to create something new out of all our influences. I mean, I like the Misfits, I like Children of Bodom, I like Viking metal, folk metal. My bandmates really love power metal, like Stratovarius, Iron Maiden, stuff like that. So what we tried to do is just put all that together to create something new.
You released a brand new single not too long ago, Invictus, and thank you for sending that over. I had a great opportunity to kind of really absorb the song, and compared to some of the other tracks, the two other tracks that you released in the beginnings of Eternal Requiem, I can really see the growth, especially in your vocals. Is singing also something that you've always kind of wanted to do? You weren't kind of hesitant or apprehensive to kind of sing? Because to me, if you're doing, like a lead guitar role versus more like a Dave Mustaine role, no pun intended, but a Dave Mustaine kind of role, where you're singing and guitar playing, that's definitely more challenging.
It was definitely harder, but it's something I wanted to do. I feel like anything that you're good at that sets you apart, you have to take it upon yourself to develop it, because that's your advantage. Everybody's given advantages and strengths, weaknesses. It's whatever you're given, you need to run with it. You need to develop it and do everything you can with it. I think that I had a good voice for this style that I'm trying to do, so I took it upon myself to develop it.
You're also a master technician when it comes to guitar playing. And I think that's one of the things that I was also looking for in awarding this guitar. Is I wanted to give it to someone who not only was out there just jamming, and I do love freestyle playing, but I also kind of admire musicians who are wanting to be masters of their instrument and be technical and learn different things about the guitar that normal people or maybe laissez-faire players would not know. And I know you've also, part of your repertoire as a musician is that you are also kind of like an instructor. You teach to Alamo Music and things like that. Talk a little bit about that, share a little bit about that, because I think that's extraordinary. Not only are you impacting people in the scene with your music and your playing, but you're also impacting young musicians here in San Antonio.
I thought I was really good, and then I went to college, and I took lessons with this guy, Peter Carey, and he just told me exactly what I was doing wrong, and he gave me a little tough love. And that's where I really honed in my technique. So here I was thinking I was really awesome, but I went to take guitar lessons for the first time seriously, and it made me a lot better. So I think that's an important thing, taking lessons. It can save you a lot of time. So that's what I do for other people. They come to me, they want to get somewhere with their playing. So I ask, where are you now? Where do you want to be? And I just try to get them from here to there the best I can. And I do have training. I went to San Antonio College. I went to UTSA, and I actually run the Alamo Rock School. Basically, what we do is we teach kids how to play in a band together. We take them out. They play Sam's Burger Joint, Bonds 007, about to play a kids museum show, and gives them the experience a lot sooner of playing in a band.
Yeah. What does that feel like to impact young people's life? I mean, I've seen some of your videos on YouTube, and these are kids. I mean, little kids, 9-year-old, 10-year-old kids who are actually playing songs and learning, how to solo and things like that. And you can just see these huge grins on these kids' faces as you're shooting this video. I mean, how does that make you feel?
And it makes me feel like I'm rediscovering why I picked up the guitar every time I teach someone who's 10 and wants to learn Black Sabbath or something, It's just taking me back to that place, and it keeps me going, And of course I'm happy for them, because they have a gift that's going to last their whole life.
Let's talk about now the reason that you're here, and let me go ahead and present to you this guitar. This is a Dean Dave Mustaine signature VMNT Flying King V, as you can see here. Brings me great pleasure to award it to you from Rob's MetalWorks and my partner out there, Dean Guitars. Are you familiar at all with Dean Guitars? You know anything about Dean Guitars?
Yes. I've always noticed that Dimebag plays a Dean guitar. That's the first one I think of, and then Michelangelo Badio, of course, Dave Mustaine. And I've had a Dean before, and I really loved it, and I wish I kept it. It's it was a beautiful Dean Hardtail. It was like a Silver Surfer kind of guitar. It was like a PRS copy, like totally silver, one piece, neck through body. It was one of a kind, and it played really well.
Sweet.
And I can't wait to play this thing.
Well, we're gonna let you strap it on here in a few. Okay, so hopefully we're gonna share with the people out there some of your technique and your shreds. But before we let you go, I have a couple of just other key questions. One is, you're a young person. You're 22 years old, and you've actually accomplished so much. When you think about even now, I mean, because obviously I would assume that you feel you're still growing and mastering the instrument. Who are guitar players out there that you feel that you emulate, or guitar players maybe if you don't feel like you play that like them, but aspire to?
Right now, I'm just really stuck on like European metal. I mean, I love Alexei Lehod. I love Winter Sun, stuff like that. I love music that takes you somewhere else, but there's like this mastery, like kind of a connection to classical music and folk music. Like takes you to another time or something. That's what I love right now. But what got me started on that was Randy Rhoads. That was the first time I heard that kind of neoclassical metal.
The majority of the Scandinavian guitar players are great players. All the Swedish guitar players are kick-ass. The guys from In Flames and, all the European guys, Milan, all them, they're killer players, man. So cool. That's very cool. Finally, I got to ask you, man, what do you see now for the future of Austin Zettner? What would you like to happen for Austin?
I just need intense focus. I want to go all the way. I mean, I have everything in place. I have, I'm young, I have long hair, I have the talent, I have support. I mean, we're about to record this EP for Eternal Requiem, and I think once we do, a lot more stuff is going to start happening.
You see a lot of players, and I know a lot of players haven't been supporting regional artists for many years, is that sometimes, especially for good guitar players, there will arise an opportunity to say, hey, we're an established band, we tour, we are contracted, come play with us or join our band. Would that be something that you would consider?
I wouldn't want to feel like I was invisible, Right. I would want to feel like I'm making some musical impact somehow.
Sure.
So if that worked for me in that situation, I might. Yeah.
Well, Austin, I appreciate you coming by and talking with us and sharing with all the people out there around the world who will see this interview. Brings me great pleasure again to give this Dean guitar, man. I wouldn't present it to you if I didn't honestly feel that you were a guitarist and a musician and someone who has a bright, bright future. Okay, so thank you. We look forward to seeing you play it here in a little bit. Remember, everyone out there, Austin Zettner is the second recipient of the Rob's Metalworks Dean Guitar Recognition Series. You saw the young man right here on Rob's Metalworks, and I guarantee you will see him again.